Hi friends, Rev Janet Jones from High Country United Church up in Camilla, Ontario, here with you in Camilla, Ontario. Not that you really know because there's just a snippet of a scene behind me that would tell you as such. Anyway, I hope you're having an okay week. As I'm recording this, the sun is shining. It is Tuesday I'm recording. I'm trying to stay ahead of the game. It works some days, it doesn't others. I'm doing my best to try to keep it consistent, to do it all the time. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. This week we are looking at the story of the Exodus. And so I'm going to read you Exodus 14 and 15. So settle in, my friends. We're going to read a story. Now, before I read the story, there are some place names in here, and people are like, how do you pronounce that? I say, if you are unsure of how to pronounce something, this is my secret. Just be confident and say it like someone taught you to say it exactly like that. And when in doubt, you can always use Bible Gateway and listen to the story on how things are pronounced. That's another cheating way. Anyway, I'll just start reading the story. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Tell the Israelites to turn back and encamp near Pi-hahiroth, between Migdal and the sea. They are to encamp by the sea directly opposite of Baal-zephon. Pharaoh will think the Israelites are wandering around the land in confusion, hemmed in by the desert. And I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and he will pursue them. But I will gain glory for myself through Pharaoh and all his army, and the Egyptians will know that I am the Lord." So the Israelites did this. When the king of Egypt was told that the people had fled, Pharaoh and his officials changed their minds about them and said, "What have we done? We have let the Israelites go and lost their services." A little about me there, right? So he had his chariot made ready and took his army with him. He took 600 of his best chariots, along with all of the other chariots of Egypt, with officers over all of them. The Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, so that he pursued the Israelites who were marching out boldly. The Egyptians, all Pharaoh's horses and chariots, horsemen and troops, pursued the Israelites and overtook them as they camped by the sea opposite Baal-zephon. As Pharaoh approached, the Israelites looked up, and there were the Egyptians marching after them. They were terrified and cried out to the Lord. They said to Moses, "Was it because there were no graves in Egypt that you brought us to the desert to die? What have you done to us by bringing us out of Egypt? Didn't we say to you in Egypt, 'Leave us alone, let us serve the Egyptians'? It would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than to die in the desert." Moses answered the people, "Do not be afraid. Stand firm, and you will see the deliverance the Lord will bring you today. The Egyptians you see today will never see you will never see again. The Lord will fight for you, and you only need to be still." Then the Lord said to Moses, "Why are you crying out to me? Tell the Israelites to move on. Raise your staff and stretch out your hand over the sea to divide the water so the Israelites can go through the sea on dry ground. I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians so that they will go in after them. And I will gain glory through Pharaoh and all his army, through his chariots and his horsemen. The Egyptians will know that I am the Lord when I gain glory through Pharaoh, his chariots, and his horsemen." Then the angel of God, who had been traveling in front of Israel's army, withdrew and went behind them. The pillar of cloud also moved from in front and stood behind them, coming between the armies of Egypt and Israel. What an image that would be. Throughout the night, the cloud brought darkness to one side and light to the other side, so neither went near the other all night long. Then Moses stretched his hand over the sea. And all that night the Lord drove the sea back with a strong east wind and turned it into dry land. The waters were divided, and the Israelites went through the sea on dry land with a wall of water on the right and on their left. The Egyptians pursued them, and all Pharaoh's horses and chariots and horsemen followed them into the sea. During the last watch of the night, the Lord looked down from the pillar of fire and cloud at the Egyptian army and threw it into confusion. He made the wheels of the chariots come off, so they had difficulty driving. And the Egyptians said, "Let's get away from the Israelites. The Lord is fighting for them against Egypt." Then the Lord said to Moses, "Stretch out your hands over the sea so that the waters may flow back over the Egyptians and their chariots and horsemen." Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and at daybreak the sea went back to its place. The Egyptians were fleeing toward it, and the Lord swept them into the sea. The water flowed back and covered the chariots and horsemen, the entire army of the Pharaoh that had followed the Israelites into the sea. Not one of them survived. But the Israelites went through the sea on dry land, with a wall of water on their right and on their left. That day, the Lord saved Israel from the hands of the Egyptians, and Israel saw the Egyptians lying dead on the shore. And when the Israelites saw the great power the Lord displayed against the Egyptians, the people feared the Lord and put their trust in him and in Moses, his servant. Now, Exodus 15 is like a song of Moses and Miriam, and so I'm going to leave that for you for reading. But the story of the parting of the sea, it's something that's kind of monumental in our Christian story. It's almost everybody knows that Moses parted the sea. He put a staff and the sea parted, and people walked, and the Egyptians got swept away. And this is our picture, the Bible, to remind us a bit about the story. And I would think if I was to do a picture for this story, I might do the parting of the Red Sea, because it's what I recollect most about the story. But this picture kind of directs me to remembering Moses telling the people, fear not, God is with us. And having these conversations, go to God and say, help us. And Moses being that kind of intercepting the questions and the concerns and bringing them to God. The image that comes to mind, just the whole idea of a sea parting and walking through, it said dry land, not moist or muddy. The land would have been dry. That's pretty miraculous, let alone parting the sea. Now I know, I know. Perhaps for most of us, some of us, maybe. Have we ever felt like we had someone we could trust to lead us to the other side? And the other side being really anything. The easiest ones that come to mind are when we're leaving abusive relationships, when we leave a job that is destroying us in whatever way. Not so much enslavement, but just destroying who we are. And I think some of you will know what I mean by that, because there are some pretty interesting jobs and corporations out there. Or it could be just even leaving a school because there's bullies and stuff. So just some of these little things, and to have someone that you can talk to about it, saying oh my gosh, why didn't you just leave us where we were? At least we knew what we were dealing with. We don't know what's going to come, And someone who says, fear not, like, we're going to get through this. God is on our side. I hope that you feel like you have somebody like that. And I know there should be people like that who have let some people down, who have disappointed them in those actions. And not every scenario turns out the same because all the contexts can be different. I hope that if you are having some of these significant struggles in life right now, that you can reach out to your Moses or Mosesette. Is that a word? Is that a thing? You know what I mean? And explain your fears and your concerns and ask for the help to be led to the other side. One of the most significant things about our faith, I don't want to say it's a blind faith, but it's trusting that things are going to work out. And it's one of the hardest things for people to do, especially with logical minds, scientific minds. I'm saying don't lose those, but also have trust that God hears your prayers, your cries out into the universe, and that God has a way of helping things work out. Sometimes it's not as fast as we want it. Sometimes it's not even similar to like we imagined it would unfold. But it does. And it's not going to necessarily be an easy road. They were followed by the Egyptians. A lot of Egyptians. They were fearing for their life when they fled. They were unsure. And when Moses parted the waters and they got to the dry land and walked, like, I still wonder, like, would I be like, is that water going to come down on me? Because seriously, I don't think I can handle this. And then for them to watch the water come down on others. There are so many things I could talk about this story, but I think that's where I'm going to keep the focus today. And if you can, read chapter 15. I don't want to bore you with my words. You can Google it online. It's pretty good. But even if you're not going through something now, if you have gone through something before, in this season of Lent, I say it's maybe time to remember it and just to give thanks to God for helping us get through. For me, each day is an exodus. Get up in the morning, can I make it through the day? And I give thanks to God each night that I am here, I am safe, I am healthy. I still can smile. I might have been grumpy at some point, but I can still smile and sleep in a warm, comfortable bed, feeling loved and secure. And so I give God thanks each day for that. Friends, will you pray with me? Gracious and loving God, I thank you for the story of Moses leading the people through the sea on dry land, for the sight that must have been, for the humanity that existed within such a miraculous story, and for the display that kind of shows us who you are for all of humanity and for all times. God, I pray that whatever we have going on in our own lives, we do not wish to destroy the other, but perhaps justice. Perhaps even reconciliation in time. In some circumstances, it may never happen. But help us, O God, to be strong in you, in our faith in you, in our trust in you, in our belief in you, to know that You follow us all the days, in all the ways, and in all the places. Help us to be Moses for someone in the best way we can. And help us to remember that you hear our prayers, even when we don't call them out to you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Well, thank you for joining me today. It is so lovely to have. It almost feels like Wednesdays are becoming story time with Jen. But it is kind of nice to reread the story or have someone else read it to you. I was going to read the children's Bible, but it doesn't really focus on the parting of the sea, which I thought was strange. It focuses on the 10 plagues. I thought, that's really strange. I might have to look at this Bible again or maybe even find another one. But yeah, I hope you're able to share these stories with someone in your family. Have conversations with friends just to go, hey, that's what we're talking about. What do you think? Because sometimes if you bring a story up like this, you might hear stories that you've never thought you'd hear, which can be a blessing and a curse. So just be prepared. Anyway, I'm going to leave you. Just a reminder that we have our Zoom call at 1:30 today. I hope you can join us. If you don't get the link because you're not part of our email stuff, just send us a message. We like anyone to join, but we do not publicly post the link just to keep kind of hackers out of it. You know, I don't want to deal with that. Anyway, otherwise, we'll see you. We're still open on Sunday. Come on in. It'll be a great time. We have room. Pretty sure. Okay. Have a great week, friends. I'll see you soon. And until then, this is Rev Jan, as always, saying, friends, God is with you. He was with Moses. He was with the people. He's totally with us. Have a good one.